Hello, hey, it's Derek again. Hey, I just wanted to thank everybody who showed up to my Facebook Live class, The Mindset of Happiness and Joy. I really appreciate the investment of time that you took to take a look at it, either live or if you saw it as a post. And again, planning on continuing to do it every Wednesday, 11 o'clock Mountain Standard Time for the next total of 8 weeks altogether. So we have 7 more weeks to go. And what I wanted to also bring up is that with Facebook Live, there are some shortcomings. One of the big shortcomings is the communication between you and me. Now, if you're on a live, you have a little chat, and you can actually write a question or chat with me. But if you see it as a post after the fact, you really don't have that opportunity. And you might be able to, ask something in a post. But sometimes you don't really want to do that because, you don't want that to show to the entire public. So what I want to do is tell you that, listen, go ahead. If you have questions concerning the class that we had, or have some questions you want maybe addressed, go ahead and send them to me through Messenger. And then what I can do is I'll be able to use those questions to kind of help answer them at the next class, or maybe be able to just answer them personally to you. So go ahead and put something in Messenger if you have a question. The second thing is I love whiteboards, and to use a whiteboard with a Facebook Live, I haven't quite figured out how to do that yet. So I thought what I'd do is just give you just a short little 5-minute blurb on a little bit about what we talked about last week on lesson 1, about our innate health and who we are as a human being. And I kind of gave you a little bit of a mathematical formula I told you, but kind of just put that out there. So I'm going to try to get this to switch over to Facebook Live, not Facebook Live, sorry, to the whiteboard. So bear with me and we'll see if this will work. All right, I think it's working. So the mathematical formula that I use is our well-being is equal to you. In other words, we have a sense of well-being that's innate in us. We're born with it. We're born with the ability to be happy. We're born with the ability to create. We are born with the ability to thrive. We are really designed to deal with reality. And this innate core states of well-being, we can go into a lot of different ideas, and we'll talk further about them in the next class, but the sense of well-being, that is who we are. Now, I don't know about you, but in my life, there's been a lot of times that I didn't feel a sense of well-being. I didn't have a peace of mind. I felt quite frustrated. And the thing that I found through understandings of what I've been learning is that the reason that we fall out of that state of well-being is a simple misunderstanding. A misunderstanding of where we experience of our life is truly coming from. And when we understand about this misunderstanding, and we can subtract it from our lives, then what's cool is that we actually fall right back into a state of well-being naturally. That's our default setting. Well-being is something that we don't have to strive to get. It's just who we are. Now, this misunderstanding is very prominent in our culture. And that misunderstanding is that we think that life is a outside in life. In other words, circumstance creates my experience. So in other words, circumstance, something outside of me creates my experience. In simple terms, like if I'm driving and someone cuts me off, It's the other driver who made me mad. The other way of putting it is well-being. Is to have a sense of well-being, I need to do something. I need to have something come into my life. In other words, if I made more money, I would have a greater sense of well-being. If I had a better spouse or a better job, then I would have a sense of happiness or peace or calm. But that is a misunderstanding, and it's not correct. The truth of the matter is, life is an inside-out life. We don't experience life from outside, we experience it from inside. So the best way to put it is circumstance, then thought equals my experience. So it's not the circumstance that gives me my experience, it's the thought or the thinking about the circumstance gives me my experience of life. See, we are actually in a thought-created reality of life. It's thought that creates the reality. It creates our experience. If we didn't have the ability to think, we really wouldn't have an experience of life. And it's moment to moment. So in my life, the times that I've felt frustrated and felt angry and did not feel that sense of well-being, it wasn't because of circumstance. It was because of thinking in the moment about the circumstance. And when I wake up to it, and I remember that it's an inside-out life, that it's my thinking about the circumstance that gives me my experience, it allows me to release a lot of the frustration, because well-being is who I am by nature. It's my default setting. To give you an experience, I had a plumber over at my house when I was fixing up my house, to putting in some new faucets, and he started asking me a question about what I do, and I told him, I do some coaching, and I kind of just explained this little concept of inside out, outside in, and where our experience comes from, just what I told you. And we left. I paid him his bill, and he left. About 3-4 weeks later, I ran into him at Walmart, and he said, I said, dude, I got to thank you. He said, after we had that conversation, he says, I left and I'm driving, and when that person cut him off, he said, he started to get angry, but then he remembered that it wasn't the circumstance that gave him experience, it was his own thinking. And as soon as he woke up to that, the road rage left. Now, that's a small, simple thing, but it also is on bigger things. That really our experience is thought in the moment. And when you realize that, the power of thought, it's quite amazing. It's an understanding that just can release a lot of the frustration and anger. At least that's been my experience. So next week, week 2, we're going to go into a little more detail about the inside-out paradigm of life and how thought really it plays a role in our experience of life. So until then, have a great week, and we will see you live on Wednesday at 11 o'clock a.m. Mountain Standard Time. So until then, this is Derek saying bye. Love you lots.